I don't even know why you have me on today's show.
That's a pretty good question.
Welcome to the Up and Away podcast, sponsored by Commerce Hero.
Commerce Hero Daily number 30. How's it going, everybody?
What's
and
up?
by everybody, I mean Steve. How's it going?
It's going well. Yourself?
Going well, going well. I am here in my patio area of my building. Very nice little patio.
Okay.
And we're about to get our podcast on.
So is the patio supposed to indicate a more casual feel, a relaxed feel, or is it still supposed to have that like chic professional thing? I can't see what it looks like, so I don't know.
You're not going to see it until it's out. I'd say casual, lush. I have a lot of greenery here in the background. So it looks like I'm in the Amazon rainforest right now.
Does it
basically.
really? Okay.
Not gonna lie. It's really cool. They have these really tall trees. They're probably like 30 feet high, 25 feet high.
Wow.
Yeah. Speaking of really tall trees that are 30 feet high, what I want to talk about today is that resumes are dead. Long live LinkedIn profiles.
Great segue. I was waiting for how that was going to end.
You saw the connection there?
Very smooth.
Yeah, you saw it. So now, the funny thing is, you don't have a LinkedIn account, right? Because you scrubbed all of your social accounts from the face of the internet a few years ago. Right?
Not exactly. I mean, I just don't tell you about certain things. But
Got it.
but LinkedIn, I mean, no, I don't.
Okay. Good. So we'll have some good.
I have a lot of expertise on this.
Yeah, we'll have some good natural tension on this, which I'm excited about. Because I tweeted it out that I wanted to talk about this, and I got a bunch of feedback from people that were
okay.
Skeptical. But like I know a lot of people don't like LinkedIn because of all the spam. That's fine.
Sure.
I totally understand that. You could I think you can disable all your notifications and all that kind of stuff, because like people that are annoyed by LinkedIn and don't want to use it, it's because they're not interested in job offers in the first place. So I agree, if you're in that mode, you're not interested in anything.
That's where I'm at.
Then sure, that's where you're at. So just disable everything, right? Because if you're not interested in anything, then you're not interested in a resume either.
Yeah.
Right? If you're not looking for a job, you're not interested in a LinkedIn profile or a resume. So it's sort of not even relevant to the conversation of resume versus LinkedIn, right? Because you don't want to use
I don't
either.
even know why you have me on today's show.
That's a pretty good question. You're the only person I could reach.
Mm-hmm.
No, actually I think you're a great example of because a couple of the people that that tweeted me back about it were also in a similar thing where they're just not interested in job offers.
Sure.
Period.
Sure.
And so I think that's totally relevant point of view. But you can probably understand still in theory why, I think, for example, I'll have people that'll say, oh, send me this candidate's resume. And I'm like, here's their LinkedIn profile. Just look at their LinkedIn profile. And LinkedIn, to me, it's not a discussion of LinkedIn versus resume specifically. It's just about using a newer, better technology to solve a given problem.
Yeah.
Yeah,
totally. And by the way, I mean, even though I don't use it as trying to offer my own services, I totally go to it to hire somebody.
Right.
So I totally get the value.
Yeah. Yeah, so I don't know. Is that when people say, send me a resume, and I'm like, just look at their LinkedIn. LinkedIn also has like a PDF export, which is handy. I'm like, just look at their LinkedIn profile. Like, why do you want, because also, just as like a developer and stuff myself, why do you want to manually have this separate document that you have to keep up to date versus just having one thing that you can keep up to date?
Now, are you assuming though that everybody has a mirror reflection of what's on their resume on their LinkedIn profile?
Yeah,
Is that what they do? I don't know.
I don't know. I mean, I don't.
They
really
should,
look at
right? Like in
resumes.
theory, why don't you highlight everything that you've done on your LinkedIn profile.
Yeah,
But
I mean,
you think
it's-
that's usually
it's-
the case?
Yeah. You have your work history. I don't know, unless for some reason you wanted some part of your work history to be private and you wanted to only put it in your resume that you send privately.
Sure.
But why would you want to do that? I mean, that doesn't make sense. Unless you're like some kind of a like secret agent or something. I don't
Very
understand why you'd
possible.
want to do that. Yeah.
There could be some, I don't know, there may be some types of jobs that you didn't want to be necessarily public, but you would share one-on-one with an employer.
Okay, but what's an example of that? I can't. It's hard for me to imagine a real life
Yeah,
example
like working
of
for the
that.
CIA, FBI, that
Well,
kind of
okay,
stuff.
fine. So Jason Bourne, if you're Jason Bourne, then that's fine. You get a pass. You get a pass on not using LinkedIn.
Okay, so but let's say that your thesis holds true. What is the opposing viewpoint then? Like, why not? Why still should you not use LinkedIn? What kind of feedback are you getting?
I don't know. I think it's just a. Okay, so for hiring companies or recruiters or HR people, I think it's just a tradition. I think it's just what they're used to, just to behave like, send me a CV, send me a resume. It's just a standard that they're used to from how things have been done for the last however many 30, 40, 50, 100 years. I think it's just that. I think it's just the inertia of how they've always done things. So they're like, just send me a resume. And I'm like, just look at their LinkedIn profile. For like developers and stuff that just hate LinkedIn because they hate the spam, they just hate it because they hate the spam.
Yeah.
Which again, like I get that. If you hate the spam, just disable all your notifications. Don't use it, right? So it's I don't see a reason not to use it. If you are in any kind of a job search mode, or if you're going to have a resume, just put it there. Like, you're going to get more traction on it. It's an easier way to keep it updated. You're going to get endorse. It's like, to me, the analogy. You're familiar with GitHub, right?
Yeah.
So for me, the analogy is like emailing your open source code around. Like, hey, Steve, you want to see this thing that I did? And then I email you my code as an attachment instead of just having a GitHub profile that I can share with you.
Sure.
Like, it just doesn't make any, it gets more visibility. It's in one place. Like, people can share it, people can link to it, can comment on it, all sorts of stuff.
Right.
Like, why just send it as an attachment? It doesn't, I don't.
Now, does
I'm not
LinkedIn
into
really
it.
give you all of the features that you could highlight on a resume? I mean, so like, let's say, and by the way, are we talking about like a junior developer role, or are we talking about people who have experience already?
I think either way. I think for
Yeah.
anybody.
Like-
because yeah, it does. I mean, anything you want to put in on a resume, it lets you put and then some, because you can put your places you've worked, and then not only that, but they can see the place you work. They can click on it. They can look at the company. You can't do that on a resume, on a Word document.
Right.
They can, you get endorsements, which a lot of the endorsements are a little bit goofy, but still, like, you still get you still just have more features, and you can disable the ones you don't want to use.
Sure.
So.
Yeah, it's funny. I think that on the side, like, let's say that you are trying to get hired, maybe the reason why he wouldn't want to use LinkedIn is because it gives you so much visibility into the places that they've worked. Maybe you just wanted to list it there and not really let them kind of do more of a research or background check into that.
Okay, so you wanted to
You wanted to
kinda
tout
like,
some things that weren't necessarily, extensive in your experience.
Okay, perfect. So to the extent that you want to like fake people out about your background, then not using LinkedIn is a good idea.
Right.
Sure. Okay.
But for an HR manager or an employer, I imagine that they would still use LinkedIn for sure as part of the research process.
Oh yeah.
Right?
Yeah. I mean, I think everybody. Which is what's weird to me about where they say send me your resume. It's like, well, you already looked at them on LinkedIn. Now, the only thing I will say is, depending on how you're connected or not connected to somebody, you might not be able to see their profile. if they're not a second degree or third degree connection,
Sure.
or depending on their privacy settings. But in that case, like, okay, fine, just use the export feature, like, which essentially exports a resume PDF from LinkedIn. So in that, I mean, in that case, I think just go that route.
So when you say, or when you put it out there, you should just use LinkedIn versus a resume, are you saying that it could totally double as a resume? I mean, because it's still the norm that an employer would expect you to send over a resume.
It sort of is.
Right? I mean,
Sort
like,
of
it would
is,
be a
which
little
is what
bit
bugs me.
off-putting if someone just said, just looked at my LinkedIn profile. It's all there.
That's exactly what
You
I
know?
do. That's exact. When people ask for a resume, I just tell them to look at the LinkedIn profile.
Like, when they ask
and
you,
you're,
though.
and you're, yeah.
Yeah, but that's because of just kind of where you're at as far as looking for a job. Like that, I mean, for someone else who's looking for a job, they still want to follow the traditional protocol as far as what's expected when they're providing
Right.
their work history.
Which is exactly why I'm doing this video, because I think
'Cause you wanna
I think
change.
I want people to think about it differently. Yeah, because I think it's dumb.
Sure, but I'm saying, like, to impress the employer, aren't you losing points from the beginning?
Maybe, but is that the type of employer you want to work for? Somebody that doesn't realize.
Yeah,
You know what I mean?
yeah. I mean, like, there's a lot of great
somebody
companies that still use resumes, Kaylin.
I don't know. I'm not sure. Depending. I guess it. I mean, sure. There are definitely some people who, yeah, you if they ask for it, you want to do it just because they ask for it.
Yeah.
But I'm still gonna say it's not, like, doesn't make any sense.
Yeah, I think you maybe, like, so for example, if you're being
Maybe I'm being a little idealistic about it.
Sure. If you're being headhunted or someone's trying to look for you and then they ask for a resume, it's like, well, you're coming to me. Why don't you just look at my LinkedIn profile? I get that a little bit more, but if you're trying to apply to some place and no one's ever heard of you and you want to make a good first impression, to tell them, you know, no, I don't have a resume. Sorry. Go look at my LinkedIn profile. I just did it there. It sounds like a lazy man's approach.
Sure, yeah, but yes, I see what you're saying. But, like, the whole purpose of Commerce Hero is to sort of reduce the friction in the hiring process and, like, reduce, like, things that are, like, don't make any sense, but they're just the way things are done, but they don't make any sense or add any value.
Sure.
Like, that's sort of the whole purpose of Commerce Hero, is, like, to connect you with smart people that don't want to waste their time doing dumb things, and smart clients that don't want to waste their time doing dumb things. So that's why in that context, I just, like, I don't got time for resumes.
Yeah,
you know?
sure. Well, and I guess I think that Commerce
And
Hero
you're
would
right,
be-
it's different. It's different the level that you're at if you're just getting started and you're junior and you just do whatever they ask, versus if you're a little more in demand, a little more senior.
Yeah.
Like, totally.
It does sound like Commerce Hero would be a great place to start that, or this new tradition of LinkedIn versus, you know, resume, and then just going with the LinkedIn profile, just because the caliber of developers that you're going to find on Commerce Hero is going to
Right.
be higher or at least more experienced, right? And I'm not saying that
Right.
to tout
Totally.
Commerce Hero. I'm just saying, like, that's generally who you're working with.
Tout away, my friend. Tout away.